I am Chip Roan with the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel, and you are watching In the Know. Today we're at the Geyer Performing Arts Center here in Scottdale, and with me is Tom. Tom, pronounce your last name for me.
Jezaleski.
Jezaleski has a lot of letters. Tom Jezaleski, and this one's actually easy. Jack Scott. And Tom and Jack are actually with the 150th Anniversary Committee here in Scottdale. They're getting ready to celebrate 150 years. That's a long time. And Tom is actually the president of the planning committee, and Jack is the treasurer of that committee. Secretary. They won't let him handle the money, but he can handle all the words. But they're going to talk about an event that's coming up that sounds really exciting to me. The older I get, the more I like history. And so this has a lot of history in it. So Tom, if you don't mind, tell the viewers what they can expect here.
Okay, well, we have a great event planned for May 25th. It'll be here at the Geyer Theater. The program will start at 7 o'clock. The doors will be open at 6:30. We are going to have a reflection or look back on Scottdale. And there are no tickets. There's no fee. We will have a donation box if you want to put it out. Money will go into our general fund. And we're just looking at gaining a lot of awareness. Scottdale was incorporated February 5th, 1874, and we're really looking at ways to kick off the awareness of the town and the event that we have planned.
That's great. And this event, again, was May 25th?
May 25th, 7 o'clock.
Here at the Geyer Performing Arts Center, no admission.
Correct.
But there is a donation box if you feel like you want to donate something.
Sure.
Yeah. And Jack, would you tell us a little bit about what's going to happen that night, the program?
That evening, we want to sort of highlight a variety of eras and things coming up that people can be involved in.
Okay.
Now, we want the evening to be equally educational, informational, but also inviting people, invitational, to see if people would like to be part of what we're doing as we work towards these from September of 2023 to September of 2024, the fall festivals, when we have this 150th celebration.
Okay. And I understand the fall festival actually started from one of these celebrations, one of the anniversary celebrations. Isn't that correct?
Basically, they called it the Heritage Festival,
Okay.
and it really came on strong in 1974 for
Okay.
Scottdale's 100th.
I thought there was a connection to that.
Right.
And I understand there's not going to be a test on a history test after it's over. Is that correct?
No. We just we'll give them a little feel of what it might have been like on the streets of Scottdale in 1924 by having someone reenact a common person, not one of the many, many famous people from Scottdale, because there are dozens of those. But what would it have been like to live here in 1924 and maybe be a housewife whose spouse works at one of the mills or someplace else?
Should we go back 100 years?
We'll go back to 100 years to the 50th anniversary.
Right, that's
and
interesting.
we'll sort of jump forward a bit. We'll have a bit of film from the 1950s.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that film? I'm really interested in that.
Okay, the Lions Club did a film circa 1956, and it's called Safari Over Scottdale. And it shows members from the Lions Club from Kingview crossing Jacobs Creek into Scottdale, and they're on a safari in search of the Golden Lion. Wow. And so long story short, when you're looking at so much of the 8mm footage that is done, it shows so many people in town. The chief of police at the time, there was a gentleman known as Bill Topp who would write down all the baseball scores for all the games, everything on the sidewalks in chalk, what time the games would be. There are candid views of Pittsburgh Street, also up on South Hickory. There's a car accident and all the crowd around that. So it's really, it's a fun little narrative from like the 1950s, a great reflection looking at the town.
Is this black and white or color?
It's in color.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
And it's an old 8mm film from the 50s, which would have been kind of unique at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exciting. And part of this, too, is for people to either learn the history or remember the history and to pass that history along.
And we also want them to share their history.
Right.
So there's going to be, we're going to highlight that there's going to be a speaker series coming out through in that entire year, in which they'll be speaking on all sorts of topics, from early European settlers to the area, to various industries in the area, to the hangouts, people that would have where people would have gone, and so we're going to have this speaker series that is going on. We're also inviting people to come into town and share their stories. So we want to gather stories. We're working with the high school to be audio taping and videotaping some of these stories from people from the ages, not just the 90-year-olds.
Right.
We're also looking for the 10 and 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds to tell stories from their memories.
To pass that along.
Pass it along and to capture it.
Yeah.
We want to capture the people as much from the 80s and 90s as we're doing from the 1890s.
Yeah.
So it's
all
important
history.
to us. It's
Exactly.
all history,
Yeah,
right?
it's all
right,
that's
exactly.
wonderful.
Exactly.
The committee, I know you have a lot. I've been to some of your planning meetings, and there's some big plans, and it sounds like some fun plans. And it's nice you're involving existing events that you already have, but also incorporating some new stuff. You want to talk a little bit more about
Sure.
that?
Yeah, we did touch base, of course, on the speaker series, and Jack also mentioned storytelling, which are two different co-chairs are handling that. There's a cookbook program going on where it's not just a typical cookbook, but why is that recipe important to your family?
Okay.
Why is this noteworthy? Of course, we would have already been past this. We had the Mardi Gras event out at the Fountain Mills Event Center. That was just a big fun community event to get everybody out and have some fun and party. We are looking at January the 6th of 2024, a block party where there'll be games on the street, and we're looking at vintage games and so forth. The Chamber of Commerce and Mary Jo Hickson's heading that committee up, and of course, like I said, there's going to be things like the speaker series throughout the year. They'll be at various venues throughout the town or the area. And of course, we're tying in with the Fall Festival and Picnic in the Park and the groups that are already established. We are looking at possibly another production, some musical and things with the person in town here.
As well as here at the theater, they're looking
Right.
at doing something
Absolutely.
from past eras.
Excellent. That's
So,
great.
yeah.
So you're called Scottdale right now. People often call it Scottsdale. They like to add that S in there, but it doesn't belong
Not
in there.
Arizona,
No,
Pennsylvania.
exactly. But it was called Fountain Mills before it was called Scottdale. So you mind talk a little bit about that? Because your event center is called Fountain Mills Event Center.
Yes, Scottdale, some of the earliest European settlers coming into the area were like in 1800. And whenever you look at some of the earliest industries, there's the area where Dorloy is now. There was an iron ore furnace there. There was also a great water source. And so you had the mill, you had the water source, Fountain Mills. And so this was called Fountain Mills. Basically, in 1874, the name was selected to honor Thomas Scott, who was president of the railroad at the time. And basically bringing the railroad into Scottdale was a big deal for our...
Will change the
for
community.
town and the industry, exactly.
Yeah. And that was based on the coke ovens and all of that, correct?
Well,
Coal and...
Yes.
Well, that didn't come until the railroad, because the railroad was that.
But the railroad
was
allowed
really
that to
brought
happen.
Allowed that to happen.
expanded.
Right. The largest corporation in the world at that time was the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Okay.
So it became a really big thing that it would stop here in Scottdale.
Sure.
And soon came the largest continuous cast steel mill in the world was here, almost a mile long here.
Wow.
Well, even like the foundry, the U.S. Pipe and Foundry Company, they made the largest seamless pipe in the world.
Okay.
And you can go to New York, you can go throughout the country, and it was used for gas lines, sewage lines, and so forth. And we still get photos every so often. It has like the trademark onto the pipe and so forth. And then you had, like say, the sheet and rolling mill, you had the tin and steel mill, and then, other industry and things grew out of that, just that e-commerce with having the trains and everything coming into town.
It's great. Well, it's a great history, and it's great to remember that history
Sure, right.
and to share that history. So this event is open to all ages. If you're young and think it won't interest you, you'll be surprised. It will interest you.
We'll have images up on the screen from a variety of times
Yeah.
Yes.
to bring people back.
And Aaron Hollis is working with you on this too,
That's
right? Yeah.
Aaron is what is Aaron's role at
I think it's co-executor.
co-executive?
Co-director, yes.
Yeah.
Co-director.
Yeah. Over at
Over at
West Overton.
West Overton,
Yes.
correct.
where a lot of this started.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Loucks who founded here came along about the same time from the same community as the folks that founded West Overton.
Yeah.
There.
Okay. Let's go back to the May 25th event again. So a piece that's going to be the movie. A lot of it's going to be just people kind of sharing some information too. And then you said people portraying
Right.
folks from that era.
We'll introduce people to our chairs of the various committees. If anybody wants to be part of those committees, they'll have a chance to sign up at that event there.
Okay.
And promote what's coming.
Okay. So this is kind of like a kickoff event.
Right.
Right.
And then we really want the community to step up and share their stories,
Yeah.
share their photos. If there's more 8mm film or VHS tapes or whatever parades in town, we would love to be able to preserve and save all of that from all the decades.
Yeah. And you're with the Historical Society too, correct?
Yes.
And of course, they're involved in this in a big way.
Yes. The Historical Society, Christmas of 21, we had our December meeting, and we really did not have a true meeting. We just sat around and had dinner, and we talked about we need to do something for Scottdale's 150th and who is active in town. And we reached out to different people to start an executive board and start all these subcommittees. And then February of 22, we had our first meeting of all those folks. And then basically within a year, we have a lot of the planning, we have everything established with our banking, we have logo contests going on, and so it's really come a long way. The planning has come together. Now's the fun part.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie and hearing the stories too.
Sure.
That's right.
And so, Jack and Tom, I appreciate your work on this program and for the whole anniversary celebration.
Well, thank you. We appreciate Armstrong's partnership on this and getting the word out for the awareness. And
we'll be talking more. This is
Thank
just
you.
a start of that. So you're very welcome. We're glad to be part of it. It's exciting, just to be hearing all the details that are going to be happening. If you don't mind, let the viewers know one more time about this event that's coming up on the 25th. Just some basic details.
So it's on May 25 at 7 o'clock. We'll have the doors open at 6:30. There's no admission fee. It'll be entertaining, it'll be informational, and it'll be invitational. So we hope they'll come and all join in, everybody from all ages here.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Here at the Geyer.
At the Geyer Performing Arts Center. Exactly. In downtown Scottdale. And now, you're in the know.